This is Retirement Keys with Anthony Kangemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Anthony provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Keys with your host, Anthony Kangemi.
Hello and welcome back to Retirement Keys. My name's Anthony Kangemi from Crescent City Retirement Group, and we want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning to talk about various retirement planning concerns. We have a great show today, but before we get started, I'd like to just thank our fabulous co-host for joining us here today and every Sunday morning, Tony Shore. Thank you so much for being with us, Tony.
Oh, it's great to be here, Anthony. It's exciting. I'm really excited to do the show with you this week. I know you've got a good one planned for us, and I've just had a crazy busy week. So this is kind of the highlight of my week. It's fun, and I usually learn something. How about you? How have you been? Are you keeping busy?
Yeah, we are, Tony. We've been busy and doing a lot of end of the year tax planning, and then beginning of the year, there's still some opportunities for people to take care of doing some tax planning before April the 1st. And so that's keeping us busy and just really, serving our clients and serving the community, Tony. And we're really, feel very, we're blessed. We're very fortunate to be in the business that we're in of helping people retire. I tell you, it's no better joy than to see people that are really wanting to retire and then ultimately retire with such a very, very streamlined, very fluid, very easy transition from their working years into retirement, and having all of the ducks in a row, if you will, having everything together where they can just move right in retirement very seamlessly. And so it's very rewarding. But we've been busy, Tony, and personally, we've been, just juggling. We've got one in college. We've got a senior. Chris is a senior in high school, and then we have my two other boys. I've got 4 boys, as you know, and so that keeps us busy. And my wife, she handles the majority of their scheduling, and
Sure.
That's a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
But how about you, Tony? How have y'all been?
Oh, I've been great. Yeah, it's really been, it's been really busy, actually, the beginning of this year. I'm keeping busy and trying to stay out of trouble, nose to the grindstone, as they say. And, it's a new year, a good year. It's going to be a better year. We all hope for that anyway. But yeah, I'm doing good, and I'm excited about our topic today. You said you wanted to talk about Social Security, and I'm always enthused when we spend time talking about Social Security because it's one of those topics that really resonates with most people. Most Americans will be getting Social Security or have that ability, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb when I say it's essential for millions of retirees out there, right?
Absolutely, Tony. It really is a foundational piece to any retirement income plan. And really, you're absolutely right. Social Security is a vital part of many Americans, Tony. In fact, Motley Fool article, 6 Social Security rules you should know by heart, notes that Social Security keeping nearly 15 million retirees out of poverty. Beyond that, millions more rely on the program to supplement their income and protect their quality of life during retirement. And no matter what role you expect Social Security to play in your retirement financial strategy, it's important to have a good feel for how the program operates, to especially know some of its basic rules. And, Tony, as I mentioned, it really is a foundational piece to any retirement income plan. And as you know, there are rules and there's different filing strategies and all the rest. And so it really is important to try to get it right or close to right as you can, because people can leave so much money on the table by just really not understanding the various options that are available to them.
Well, yeah, and I know Social Security is something that a lot of people think about quite often, and I'm always interested when it pops up in the financial news sources that I follow. What do you have first for us when it comes to some of the program's rules?
Sure. So the first thing our audience should remember is that many are eligible to claim Social Security when they turn 62. However, that's just the very first age you would be eligible, and it's not considered your what they call full retirement age, or FRA. If you aren't already retired, Social Security assigns you an FRA, and for most people, the age is currently between 66 and 67.
Well, that makes sense. Now, can you remind us of how Social Security benefits are calculated?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tony. The Social Security Administration uses your average earnings from the 35 years you've earned the most money. If you've worked less than 35 years, those missing years are just calculated as 0 years. And to our earlier point, if you don't want to work until your full retirement age, you may file for Social Security earlier at age 62. But they do look at your average earnings of your top 35 years to get that FRA, or to get that, primary insurance amount for your full retirement age, Tony.
Sure, and I think that makes perfect sense. Now, if you file, though, before your full retirement age, or FRA, that comes with a trade-off, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. If you file before your full retirement age, your monthly benefit payment is going to be smaller. Bear with me now, because there are some weird fractions coming up. But for each of the first 36 months you claim your benefit before full retirement age, your benefit is reduced by 0.05%. And if you file more than 36 months before your full retirement age, your monthly payment is reduced by the additional 0.05% for each month over the initial 36 months. When you look at those numbers over the course of a year or even years, the percentages can add up in a hurry. So it's really important to understand what the reduction would be if you filed prior to your full retirement age, and then look at that calculated over your life expectancy so you can really get a good understanding of what it may be that you're giving up.
Well, yeah, and I'd certainly say that that's a downside of filing for your Social Security before your full retirement age then. So what happens, though, if you work past your full retirement age, or just don't start drawing your benefit until after that age?
Well, the short answer is that waiting past full retirement age to claim Social Security will increase your monthly benefit. And here's an interesting twist. You hit 100% of your Social Security benefit at your full retirement age, but your benefit can grow past the 100%. So you're first eligible at 62, then you would hit your full retirement age at, let's say, between 66 or 67, depending on what year you were born. And then the maximum Social Security benefit kicks in when you turn 70. Now, all of this said, Tony, if you're in good health and you enjoy your work, it may be wise to move and keep working until age 70. Whether that's actually an appropriate decision depends on your unique goals for retirement, but it really can ramp up that payment if you're still working and you want those payments to increase. The other thing I might add, and I know we'll talk about survivor benefits here, but depending on the different ages of this, if you're married and your spouse is much younger, having that higher survivor benefit for the spouse, and then them bringing that higher payment to their life expectancy can really enhance the overall numbers when you're looking at a full Social Security strategy, especially for married couples, Tony.
Well, yeah, and with people living longer, it seems like more people out there are interested in actually working longer, too, in a lot of cases. How much does a person's benefit increase if they keep going to the office after they've reached their full retirement age?
Yeah, so for each year after their full retirement age that a person delays filing for Social Security until age 70, their benefit increases by 8%. And according to the AARP's maximum Social Security benefit, the most a person filing for Social Security in 2020 at age 70 can receive per month is $3,790 a month. Now, there's one caveat that some of our listeners should be aware of. You must have fully qualified for Social Security before your full retirement age to be eligible for this increase. That means you'll have had to work and paid your Social Security taxes for at least 10 years. If you're still in the process of qualifying for Social Security after you reached FRA or full retirement, then you don't qualify for the increases. But again, as long as you've qualified with those 40 quarters or 10 years prior to full retirement age, then yes, it will increase, your benefit will increase after full retirement age by 8% per year. So, again, Tony, everybody's situation is different. But as I say, in the income planning that we do in any type of retirement plan, if we're going to structure an income plan, certainly Social Security planning and maximizing Social Security is such a key component.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, we should probably take a quick break to let our listeners know how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So, again, you can always go to our website at crescentcityretirement.com or call our office. But I do have a special offer. If you don't have a documented retirement plan, or you'd like to get a second opinion on the plan you have, take advantage of our special offer.
You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to the Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Kangemi. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore. And Anthony, great show today. We've been exploring some of the key Social Security rules and options that people nearing full retirement age or their FRA might benefit from. And anyone out there who hasn't filed for Social Security, this is a really important conversation to have. So what do you have next for us?
Well, Tony, another element of Social Security that our listeners should note is that your lifetime benefit doesn't change based on timing. As the Motley Fool article, 6 Social Security Rules You Should Know by Heart explains, whether you file for Social Security early or right at the end of your window, your lifetime benefit may work out to be similar. The system is designed that way so that if you begin receiving your benefits early, let's say at 62, you'll get a longer series of smaller payments. On the flip side of that, if you begin taking your benefit, let's say all the way out to age 70, you'll get fewer payments, but they'll, of course, be larger payments. That means if you have a clear reason to file for Social Security early, on the early side, if you will, due to something like a job loss or a health condition, you can go ahead and do it without feeling like you're making this big financial mistake or leaving a big pot of money sitting on the table unclaimed.
Well, yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, you have to take advantage of it. So I think this has been a great conversation, and that's a good breakdown you've given us. I mean, the total is similar, but the monthly payments vary depending on when you file. That's easy to remember.
That's right, Tony. And another critical piece of the Social Security puzzle is that if you qualify for Social Security, your spouse of at least 1 year can base their claim on your earnings history. The amount your spouse receives will either be what your spouse earned from working, or up to 1/2 of your benefit at your full retirement age, whichever is higher. Any spousal benefits don't change the monthly amount that you receive. So if you've got a spouse, they're going to look, and we should look at what benefit would make more sense. Should you draw off of your own record, or does it make more sense to draw off of the spouse's record?
A person filed for Social Security, but then maybe has buyer's remorse, or they're hearing the show and saying, wait, I should have waited. Is there any type of redo option?
Yeah, Tony, there is. If you file for Social Security, but then receive the kind of job offer that you just can't say no to, let's say, you do have an option to a point. The Social Security Administration does allow you to withdraw your application within 12 months of filing. However, there are 3 key points within this policy that our listeners should be aware of. But
there's always a catch, though, isn't there?
Yeah, well, and there's rules that have to be abided by. But if it makes sense and it looks like it would be, a better choice, or maybe you started and now you have some regret, and you'd like to have a do-over, if you will, there certainly may be some options to get that done.
So what are the 3 catches, though, that you have to be aware of?
Well, the first is to be aware when you withdraw, you have to repay any money that you or anyone in your family received from the Social Security application. So you've got to give the money back. So let's say, you started your Social Security and you received 3 months of payments, and now you've decided to have a do-over and replenish your Social Security benefits. You'd have to give those 3 months back. And next, any family member who received benefits based on your earnings record, which usually means your spouse, would have to agree to withdraw in writing. And finally, you can only do this once. So you can't retire at a later date, and then withdraw again. So if you do want to do a do-over, we just have to make sure that, you have to realize that we can do it this one time if it's in the 12-month period and we're willing to give the money back, and then we can have a do-over. Now, we don't see a lot of people doing that, but one of the things that we do here is we like to, do the legwork up front and build that Social Security maximization report using life expectancy as a benchmark, and seeing really, based on life expectancy, what's the best strategy with the Social Security Max report. But for people that have just jumped out and made a decision without really having all the facts, some people might say, well, I really wish I didn't do that. And there may be an option to undo it, if you will.
Okay, so it's good to know that there are options out there. In this case, though, it's a very short window, and there's a lot of stipulations the way it sounds. So, you can only play that withdrawal and refile card once, though. That's important to remember. So what do you have next for us on the Social Security topic?
Well, one more thing that people should be aware of is that though this isn't the magic recipe to significantly increasing your monthly payment, you can educate yourself about how the benefits formula works so that you can use the knowledge to your advantage. We mentioned earlier that your Social Security payment at full retirement age, or FRA, is based on your highest 35 years of salary, and that if you don't work for 35 years, those missing years are calculated as zeros. If you're in that situation, you can focus on filing in those 0 years and working years. That will increase your averages and increase your monthly payment. If you've been put in the 35 years of work, you can increase your average monthly payment by simply continuing to work. This might be especially valuable if your current earnings are higher and your salary is higher relative to the rest of the career that you've had because of the drop of some of your lower earning years out of the formula and plug in some of those higher years. So typically, Tony, when we look at earnings history, you'll see in the earlier years, and this is pretty typical, the earlier years when we were just starting out, they might be very low. That income that we were receiving might be very low. And then in the latter years, of course, our income could be higher. And so some of those lower years falling off of the equation of the 35-year average and replacing it with some higher years can really build up that average. So again, Tony, it's just doing the planning, having the earnings history in front of us and having those maximization reports in front of us so we can just make sure that we have looked at all of these scenarios. We just want the most bang for our buck, obviously. We want to get the most out of our, we've been putting into Social Security, obviously, for many years, and we just want to make sure we have all of the facts in front of us so we can make good decisions.
Yeah, there you go. And we all want to make the best decisions possible, and I think that that's a really good point right there. So I think that this has been a great topic, and we should probably keep going with it, but let's take a moment once again to let our listeners know how they can set up that complimentary consultation and get their own copy of the Social Security Maximization Report.
Absolutely. So this Social Security Maximization Report that we're talking about is really a phenomenal report. It breaks it down. It shows what you would receive if you started your Social Security at the earliest age or at the present age or at your full retirement age or at the maximum age. And it shows the optimization strategy that shows really comparing all of those scenarios. And of course, using life expectancy as a benchmark. And then, of course, even for spouses, using spousal benefits as well. So this Social Security Maximization Report is really a foundational report for any retirement income plan. And so I would just encourage you, if you haven't seen one or if you'd like one, by all means, go to our website at crescentcityretirement.com and ask for your own Social Security report, or call our office at 504-828-2171. Say that you heard Tony and Anthony on the show talking about the Social Security maximization and you'd like your own report. We'll be happy to run it for you and get it right to you.
Yeah, that sounds great. And now, listeners, you are listening to Retirement Keys with Anthony Congemi, and I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and we're talking about Social Security today, some Social Security rules that you should know about and quirks that you might not be aware of. And it's been a good one, hasn't it, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's really one of the topics, Tony, that are so near and dear to my heart. When I think about just core universal strategies in any retirement plan, I three topics come to my mind: Medicare, taxes, and Social Security. I would say that these three core topics really apply to all of us. We all need a good Social Security strategy in our retirement plan. And so that's what's so really unique about the Social Security Maximization Report. It's just a phenomenal report that shows exactly what benefits are there and what's the best way to maximize. And so I'm so proud to be able to offer it, Tony.
I think there are a lot of things. You can get deep in the weeds with this stuff, Anthony, but we're almost out of time. And if our listeners want more information on this, it's to set up that complimentary consultation. There's no cost or obligation, and they can have you run that Social Security maximization report for them. There's no cost. How do they do that?
Absolutely. So just give our office a call at 504-828-2171, or you can go to our website at crescentcityretirement.com. You can reach out to us there. Let us know that you heard the show. You want a copy of your Social Security maximization report. It's free, completely complimentary. We'll send it to you. We can overnight it. We can send it, via email, secure email. You can pick it up at our office, one of our offices, but we want to get you the report. That's the main thing. We want to get it to you so you have that foundational report so you can really look at and study the different strategies that are available to you in that Social Security maximization report. So with that, I really just want to thank y'all for joining us. We really appreciate you tuning in to Retirement Keys every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And we really just enjoy the time together. Tony, thank you so much for being such a fabulous co-host. We just really couldn't do the show without you.
Thanks. And that does it for today's episode of Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Congemi. Thank you for listening to Retirement Keys. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Congemi at Crescent City Retirement Group. Call 504-828-2171 or visit the website at crescentcityretirement.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Anthony Congemi and Crescent City Retirement Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.